Hey guys, what's up? Everybody's doing good. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just kind of jump into it. I'm gonna try to make this one a pretty quick one. Um, Hopefully we can just get through this. I wasn't expecting to do a stream tonight, but I'm going to real quick because things are happening. Um, but thank you, Beckinator, for the 5 for 5. So let's just go ahead and get into this. Everybody, if you could, please share the stream and hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. That's the best way you guys can help me out here is by sharing the stream. I would think that I believe that Adam and Dex are going to be going live on over on Marfugal here in just a few minutes. We had some really good live streams tonight. Rip did a live stream earlier. He did a really good job with that. Awesome info. And yeah, and so yeah. So if you could, please just kind of send that out, and we'll go over to Marfugal after this, okay? I'm sure they're going to be starting up their stream here before too long. I don't think they're live yet. I didn't get a notification anyway, so we'll just do that, and yeah. Okay, so what we got here? Well, we ended up with an M5 flare, and I think I showed you guys this yesterday during that stream. This was a very impulsive flare. What does that mean? That just means it was a flash, essentially. Okay, there wasn't really much of any kind of a CME with this. All right, it did not produce one. It was too impulsive. It was not long duration. And when we talk about long duration solar flares, that's usually when you start to see a lot of the plasma leaving the sun. And that's what we get concerned with when we're talking about, grid down type of situations and stuff like that. Which, by the way, none of this is grid down. If it's ever going to be grid down, I'm going to come out here right at the beginning and just tell you that. Okay, guys? There is no fear here. Please don't ever think that. I don't do fear whatsoever. And I just try to keep it as real as I can without exaggerating. And I will be the first to admit to you that I used to exaggerate, and it wasn't on purpose. Okay? I caught myself doing that, and I tried to change the way that I did my shows after that. And I hope you guys can appreciate that, because I think it was a very, very clear point in my content that I switched. You could tell. So I don't want to make anybody fearful. I don't want to do any of that ever. And so that's why I do what I do. But anyway, M5 flare. Now we've had, some other flaring going on. Now, are those produced as CMEs? Not really. But if you guys go down here and you see this is the KP. That's the 5, right? Look at a KP of 5 is a G1 storm. Now remember what I've been doing here lately, guys. I've been showing you guys this one. This is the HP. It's the same data. It's just in quicker increments. Okay, we're getting one every half hour instead of one every 3 hours from over here. Right now, I want to show you something. You see how this is at a 5 here? Now, if we go over here to this one and we go down to their the KP over here, they were at a KP of 5 for 2 bars here, which would have been 6 hours. So there is a little bit of discrepancy here. They're not agreeing with one another a little bit. But that's just what it is. Yeah, you're right, Rip. That's a very good point, and I was actually going to talk about that. We have been catching a lot of unexpected storming. I really don't know what that means. It either means that we're being affected a little bit quicker, a little bit harder from littler stuff, or it's just things we're not seeing. And I kind of think it's a little bit of both. It hasn't been like extreme yet, but there has been, I've noticed, just like Rip just said, I've noticed that we were seeing these geomagnetic storms just kind of come out of nowhere when we didn't expect it. And they haven't been huge, okay? We're not talking like G4 or G5 storm. We're talking very low level stuff, right? But back to this. This is the HP30. It's the same data, like I said, as over here with the KP. It's just we get it every 30 minutes. So why is that important? Well, what you got here, guys, is you can see right here, if you go back to the 7th, which is, well, we're still in the 7th where I live here in Eastern Time Zone. But what you're seeing here, guys, you can see, I'll tell you what, let me zoom in a little bit. And we'll go to this little box over here. You see how, because this line right here is the level 5. This would be the HP at 5. KP is the same data. It's just that's a 5. Now you can see how it kind of crested a couple different times, right, over that line. That's why this is showing 2 bars and this one isn't. Okay, does it make a big difference? No, it's just, I'm just a way to show you guys, hey, this is what's going on. All right. So what can we expect with a low-level geomagnetic storm, guys? Not a whole lot. Okay. The bigger thing here is that it was unexpected. Okay. And like Rip said, we've been getting a lot of those. If you guys go back and you look through my content the past month or two, you're going to see quite a few times where my title, actually, I didn't realize it till the other day, actually says unexpected Earth hit unexpectedly by a geomagnetic storm. That's happened quite a bit lately. So I just want to point that out. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. Now, so what you got here is you got the data, right? This is the Discover data, and this is the solar wind and all the stuff that we talk about. Now, notice that the BZ went down to -6 here for multiple hours. Okay, roughly, it's here about 9-10 hours, we were at -6 or bigger. And notice the range over here, because they changed this because they can't fit it all in there unless they do change it. So see, that says -40. That's a pretty big tilt. Okay, but they did that because we were getting readings of like -15 and stuff, so they had to. That's why they did that. All right, so we got to like -15. That's a pretty decent little tilt, so it was letting stuff in easier. Okay, so yeah, and actually, guys, I just got a notification for over on Marv. He's going live in about a half hour. So, guys, please go over and check him out. I would really appreciate it. You know, he's, I tell you what, guys, they really do got it going on over there. They're just straightforward to you, and they source all their articles and stuff. This is good stuff, guys. Good, honest stuff, and in my opinion, it's probably the best news on the internet as far as alternative news and what we talk about here. I think it applies to everybody, and there's a lot of good people in this community, and we got to focus on that, okay? And we got to support those that do. But anyway, I will be going over there right after this live stream, just so you guys know. I think they scheduled theirs for like 10:30, I believe, Eastern. So the data here, guys, and then you got the density was, one here was at right there. I'm trying to get it to that point. 37. Look at that. That's pretty good dense. Pretty good density right there, right? That's pretty high. Now notice that it kind of fell off, and then you got your wind speed in purple, and it went up to, you know, between 400 and 500 kilometers per second, which isn't really all that fast. Now, that is over 1 million miles per hour. When you start talking about 400 kilometers per second, that is over 1 million miles per hour. But again, the sun's 93 million miles away, so we got, you know, all that kind of stuff. And B Munger talks about the there in the chat there, was asking about the eclipse, and I will show that to you guys here in just a minute, give you the time frame on that. There's going to be a full lunar eclipse tonight. So, well, this morning. And again, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get there. But let me show you guys. I do want to go back here, though. Do you guys remember yesterday on my live stream, I was showing you guys all this stuff over here, right? NOAA's forecasting. And I went down here and I showed you the forecasting for the flares, right? Or radio blackouts. You guys can go back and watch my video yesterday, and you'll see me talk about it. what did I say? If you guys remember what I said, remember that the R1 to R2 was at 10% chance. And the R3 or greater, I believe, was at 1 to 5%. Okay. And I told you guys, I said, I think that's probably going to increase. And it sure did. They changed their forecasting because sunspots happened. All right. R3 or greater means that's X class flare range. R3 is the low end of X class. Okay. R1 to R2 is M class flare. So that's what I was talking about yesterday, because I seen it coming. I could tell by looking at the sun here that this was probably going to increase the chances of us getting bigger flares. So why am I even bringing this up? Well, the fact of the matter is, when you got big sunspots like this in this position, and they're already flaring, and they're starting to become more and more unstable, we would be remiss to not sit here and talk about that. Okay, not only do these sunspots have a chance of doing that, they're starting to intermingle with one another. So what that is that definitely will show you that the chances of flaring is going to be greater, because the magnetic polarities are going to start mixing with one another. Okay, and when that happens, they become very unstable and they start firing off. Now, they have to have a certain kind of complexity and a certain kind of energy to be able to produce bigger flares. Well, that stuff is rising. That is why they're now saying, you know, there's a 10% chance in the next 3 days we could see an X-class flare. That's actually fairly significant, considering that this usually sits at 1%. You know, we got an M-class flare yesterday, but it was impulsive, like I said, up and straight down. There was no long duration with it. So just wanted to point that out, because that's important to know. It truly, honestly is. You guys have to understand that. It's a very, very good point that we have to concentrate on a little bit there. The fact that, you know, when those percentages start coming up, we better be looking at this stuff. Because chances are, if we start getting more complexity out of these sunspots, they're going to increase this even more. And why is it such a deal today and it wasn't yesterday is the fact of the position of them. If these things fire off right now, most likely it's coming right at us. Okay, so that's the deal, right? So yeah. Now, let's go over here to the Magnetopause models, and this is where it shows you the Magnetopause. Sun's off to the left, and solar wind and CMEs and stuff like that come from left to right here. Okay, sun's off to the left. This is showing you speed only. Okay, see how it's just kind of hanging out, not doing a whole lot. Density, it's probably not going to do a whole lot either. And again, because right now we're not really experiencing too much uptick in conditions. Now, if I'd have showed you guys this hours ago, it might look a little different, right? But check this out. See the magnetic pressure? It's hanging around our planet. We're getting pushed on pretty decent like. Okay? See how that's just totally engulfed right here? And you can kind of see where we got our bow shock, and this is kind of the second shock. I'm not going to go into what that actually is, but you could even see it there. Sometimes that second shock is kind of hard to see. But you can see how this thing is definitely pushing on us. And I'm going to pause it right. I'm going to take it to the end here. But do you see how this second shock actually started to tilt? Okay, and let me show you what I mean. So watch what happens. You see how it's just kind of direct. If the sun was over here, it's kind of directly pointed that way, right? Watch as we go in time here. You can legitimately see it start to tilt that direction, especially on the end there. See that? So that's what I'm trying to say. That's you know, when we talk about like our BZ and stuff like that, that's kind of what we're looking at there. Now you can kind of see it on this one too. This is a side cut, all right? You're looking at the sun from the side here. This is a top-down view, all right? So let's take this back and you can watch it. See it just, you can see it tilt a little bit. It moved up like that, watch. See? So that's what I'm talking about with like our angle and stuff. And that moves constantly. So, and back here on this Discover data, guys, we did have a polarity flip on the phi angle, right? That's the polarity of the solar wind itself. Remember, solar wind is plasma, right? And what is plasma? It's a charged gas. So it has a charge. So how's it getting here? It's getting here magnetically, right? It's on that line. So it is definitely traveling that way. So it has to have a polarity. So when that flips, sometimes it'll yank on our magnetic field enough and it could put us into a storm, into a geomagnetic storm. Now, what was significant about this is the density actually went pretty high. Okay? So we had all that going on and all the above there. So I'm not sure what button I hit there, but that was kind of ridiculous, wasn't it? Okay, let's just X out of that. So this is the Australian magnetopause model. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so watch this thing. This is our bow shock. It's the same thing that this is right here, right? Watch this thing bounce around, and it's going to. See what it did right there? So we're going to pause that. We're going to take it back. Okay, I want to show you guys what this bow shock did. And I know this is kind of slow moving, but that just is what it is. Hey, dang on. I must have went real far. Past where I went. Okay, there it goes. It's starting to move. See that? See how it's moving? Ain't really giving me what I want there, but let's okay, so watch. See how it gets inside our satellite line right there? This is what we call compression and rapid expansion. We get compressed on and we push back, and when we finally win that battle a little bit, we'll extend our bow shock way out. What is our bow shock? It's the point where solar wind meets our magnetic field. It's as simple as that. Now here's our satellite line. We get concerned with that because when this bow shock gets inside the satellite line, it exposes any satellite out here to all of the solar wind. Our magnetic field is no longer protecting these satellites when this bow shock gets into here. Okay? So that's why we talk about it. And it can actually knock satellites out of the air. A lot of times what you'll see is it'll increase the density. So what's that do to the satellites? Well, it increases drag. So it starts to slow the satellites down, and they're not staying in their correct position in their orbit. So they have to make adjustments. That's one of the things that we talk about even in a low-level geomagnetic storm, right? But yeah, so let's take a look at SDO here real quick, and I will show you what's going on here, which isn't a whole lot, honestly. We've had some eruptions, but we haven't had a whole lot. So this is yesterday into the day, and you'll see the M-class flare here. There it went right there. But as you can see, not a whole lot else is going on. Okay? Now, we do have these big, long filaments draping across here we're going to have to keep our eye on. All right? If those start to release off, that's a CME, so they can come right at us. That kind of thing. But as you can see, that was that M-class yesterday. Now, again, let me do this. I want to show you guys this one. Let's let's back that up, and we'll go here and we'll check out the I think this is the one I want. Let's try that. Yep. Okay, So this is going to show you how these sunspots are morphing. See what they're doing? You got negative and positive, blue and red, those kinds of things. But what you're seeing is they're going to start intermingling with each other. So eventually they're just going to, they're going to short out and they're going to start flaring. This is substantial sunspot, guys. It really is. So, hey, Trish. All right. So, what we got here? Oh, yeah. I mean, we can go over this real quick if you want. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this part of it. But this is geomagnetic storm level 1. Weak power grid fluctuations, spacecraft operations. They may have to steer the satellites back up into their orbit correctly again. Actually, migratory animals sometimes are affected by this. That's how they navigate, So that's how that works. So let me show you guys the sun divers real quick too. We've had 2 of them, and watch what happens. Well, that ain't it. I pushed on the wrong one. Okay, this is LASCO C2. It's a satellite it's SOHO, and it sits out about 1 million miles closer to the sun, right out in front of us. So what you're seeing here, sun diver, right? That was on the 6th. Let's go to the 7th. There's another one. Now, why are we seeing these? Okay, well, it probably has something to do with the Toward meteor shower that we're going through. This is all debris. Okay, I would think that this is probably part of that. I can't say for sure, but I think that that's where these things are coming from. Okay, this is something we know. We go through it every year, but we are seeing a pretty good uptick in sun divers. So let me back that up again. That was on the 6th. Let's go back to the 5th. No sun diver that day. Let's go to the 4th. Nothing there. Let's go to the 3rd. Doesn't look like we had nothing there either. I think it was right around the 2nd here, if I remember right. I showed you guys these other ones before. Let's see if it... Okay, let's go to the 1st. Nothing that day either. Maybe it was back in late October. It's one of these days. You'll see them down here. Man, I thought that was a little bit... There they are. Okay. So, watch them come in here. There's 2 of them. So, we've had... This has been happening. So, within the past week or 2, we've seen... This thing has caught, like, at least 5 or 6 comet divers. Or sun divers. Those are comets. Okay? But yeah, so yeah, we got to pay attention to earthquakes right now, guys. There is a lot going on, a lot of shaking. You guys can see for yourself here. We're getting a lot of 5s across the planet. Some of them, I think, I haven't seen any 6s or anything like that, the last 24 hours. But we are seeing a definite uptick in the 5s. So let's just pay attention to that, Now, here you go. This is the lunar eclipse. I know everybody's asking about this. This is what's going to happen today. This is going to happen this morning. Eclipse will occur at 2:59 Pacific Standard Time. Okay? That would be 10:59 UT. Okay? Let's check out the visibility map. So if you wonder where you're at in the world, this is the chances, and this is how much of the eclipse you'll be able to see. Okay, if you got good weather. Obviously, out here in the Pacific and on the West Coast, Alaska, Western Canada, you're going to get the full-blown show here. Okay, now I'm over here on the east, in the Eastern time zone in Indiana, so I'm going to kind of fall into this area here. I'll still be able to see it. I would encourage you guys to go out and check this out. Okay? So please do. You can just simply Google your local time to see lunar eclipse. Just do that. Alright? And you'll be able to see stuff. It definitely will it's just a neat thing to see, guys. It really truly is. And don't pass up on a chance to see stuff like this. This is the stuff that I used to do when I was a kid. And kids don't do this very often anymore. So because they don't do that, because they can just get on their phone, get on their computer, and they can see it that way. Now that was all fine and dandy when we were locked down, right? We're not locked down no more. Let's go out and be who we are. You know what I mean? We can't just sit on our hands anymore and just expect things to get fixed. It starts in the home. If we want things to change, it's got to start with us. It truly does. And we got to quit worrying about instant gratification. We have to quit worrying about that. In other words, not only plan for our future, but plan for the next 2, 3, 4 generations' future. That's how things get better for our kids and for our grandkids. We can't just sit down and not do nothing. So take this small stuff. This is small on the grand scheme of things. Go grab your kids out of the bed if you need to. Wake them up for like an hour. Let them see it. Let them see it. You never know what that could do for them. I'm serious about that. That could spark something in them that you never know. That could spark them enough to where that they want to go to college and do a certain whatever field that they want to do, and maybe they'll be the one that solves the world's problems. You never know. So what I'm saying is, take that time. If you don't, I promise you, you will regret it. Because I know I have. I've done things where I know I could have taken my kids or my wife or myself even and went and seen things with my own eyeballs and decided to stay home because I could pick my phone up. Mark Wages don't do that no more. I wasted enough time with that crap. I'm not doing it anymore. And I haven't been. I needed to reprioritize. And sometimes doing that isn't the easiest thing to do. But it's the right thing. Okay? So just know that. Thank you, Menacing, for posting that. That's an awesome site, guys. They just posted for tonight's eclipse, guys. Okay? Just go check out that link. It'll let you know. This right here is at spaceweather.com. Let me back that up. If you guys go over here to spaceweather.com, and I'll put this link in the chat also. Just put it there. Right there, and there you go. Did it go? I don't know. Yep, it went. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Menacing, for sharing that. That really does help a lot. But if you guys go over here to spaceweather.com, you see anywhere where these little blue things are highlighted, that's a link. Okay? So if you go to the visibility map, there you go. That's where I just showed you guys, right? I think if we scroll down, well, it ain't gonna do it. Okay. Yeah, that's something else too, guys. We talk about wax to wane, wax and waning moon and all that. What is waxing and waning? You guys know? I'm asking, I'm being serious when I say that. Waxing and waning, by definition, is the termination line moving on the moon. Okay? So, let me show you. I'm just going to do it this way. Waxing moon. Sorry. Okay? Let's see here. Because it should give us a definition what a waxing moon is. Okay, here we go. Care about your stupid newsletter. Come on. Man. Okay. Um, there are many phases in between the portions of the moon. Da 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 da. I don't like this site. We're gonna go to something different. This is for something different. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, now listen. Um, okay. Wax and wane definitions and meaning. Okay, wax and wane. Increase or decrease as in size, number, or strength, or intensity, as in enrollments in these programs wax and wane year to year. Okay, I don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the whole program here. This must be a, I don't even know what that is. Anyway, how to tell whether the moon is waxing or waning. Let's do that. Let's just take a look at that. Maybe that'll help people understand this. Anyway, in order for the moon to go from wax to wane, right? That means the termination line changes. Okay? That means that the shadow on the moon changes. So when you get a waxing on and waxing off, right? That's a waxing crescent. That's a first quarter. That's a waxing gibbous. In other words, the shadow's actually going away. Okay? The light is waxing on. See how you go from a waxing gibbous to this, the waxing crescent? And then a waning is the opposite. So unless this termination line is moving, it's not waxing or waning. Now, it moves 6% a day anyway, no matter what. Now, if you go outside and you look up and you watch your moon, it'll look like it does that. But this termination line does not change, so it's not waxing and waning. All right, the termination line has to change in order for that to happen. It doesn't. It stays on the same spot on the moon all through the whole night. Moon up to moon rise to moon set. Okay. You know, whatever else it's doing, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even having that conversation. But I had a question. Somebody asked me this. Matter of fact, 2 people asked me this in the past week. What is wax and what is wane? Right? So that's what it is. The termination line has to move. So if you go outside and what you do is you pick out a artifact on the moon, and you see where the shadow is, and then when it at moon rise, and when it sets, guess what? That shadow is going to be in the same spot. Now, to your eyeball, it might look like it's moved, but it didn't. The shadow line never moved, so it's not wax wane. Whatever else it's doing, that's for everybody else to discuss. I don't care to discuss that right now. But just know that. I mean, in order for that to happen, the shadow has to move. And it doesn't, except for the expected 6% through the night. So, anyway, I just wanted to point that out because we're talking about the moon. I actually had, like I said, I had 2 people ask me in the past week, what is waxing and waning? That's what that means. So, anyway. But, yeah, okay. So, to kind of sum it up, guys, unexpected geomagnetic storm. Not a whole lot going on with that. We just didn't really get a whole lot. I expect this to change, okay? The biggest thing I want you guys to understand is right now is these sunspots are in front of us. It's going to become a little bit more active probably. And if the activity on the sun comes from these sunspots, it's going to come at us. Okay? So that's why I'm even talking about this. Remember I said yesterday, you know, anything happens on the sun right now, these percentages of chances of X flare or N flare, they have risen. They changed their forecasting. I thought that's what they were going to do, and that's what they did. So, which is whatever. I'm not trying to say, oh, look at me, I'm right. I'm just saying we need to pay attention. That's why I'm saying that. Now remember, an R3 is an X-class flare. And 10% chance of that actually is fairly significant. Okay? Now, just because an R3 flare might happen, we also have to consider that sometimes, a lot of the time, it's not even going to be directed at us. So always keep that in mind too. All right. But the chances of us experiencing an X flare is 10% for the next 3 days, unless the sunspots start to morph even more. Conditions start to increase that way. I'll try to be here the best I can to give you guys the best update that I possibly can. But that's just kind of what I'm doing here. Now, one more thing before I get you off here. I want to, and again, guys, yeah. So thank you guys for showing up. And I know that I haven't been trying to do all the space weather at the beginning now, guys. And I think I've been doing pretty good with that. Let me know how I'm doing with that. If you guys like me doing that, and because I tried to cut out all the shout outs until after all that. Okay. I think it's better for you guys. I think it's actually better for me. I try to stay focused. I try not to look at the chat. But we had an awesome live stream over here tonight, guys. So please come over here to the lifeboat. Check it out. This is something I'm very passionate about. You guys hear me talk about it a lot. This is Tommy and I's second channel. Well, it's his channel, my second channel. Me and him are running it together. And so I do like to, show people this, because we're getting people help over here for addiction. So please come over here and check us out. If you're fighting it yourself, or if you know somebody that is, please get them over here. We don't judge you. You could come over here, whatever state you're in. If you're drunk, if you're high, you're not going to get kicked out of here. We're going to talk to you. Okay? So just know that. All right? Hey, Ron. What's up, buddy? Hey, there's Ron, guys. Go check out Ron over there, Emergency Management Associates. Good cat, man. Good cat. He's an awesome dude. You guys want some good earthquake stuff? Go over there, please. Check him out. And again, guys, you guys know what I say. Go check out everybody. Even if you think I hate them, go check them out. Come back and tell me what they said. Because chances are, I'm going to go watch them anyway. Because I don't let stupid little petty stuff keep me from learning. So that's how I roll. And that's what I hope you guys can do too. Just because somebody says something bad to you or about you or whatever, it doesn't matter. You're doing yourself a disservice if you can't go at least look at the information that they're saying and look at it through a correct filter through your own eyeballs and be like, hey, that sounds like that might be true. Maybe I need to look into this. What I'm saying is, don't count anybody out. Okay? Now, see, there's the sexy man himself with his hat on. There he is again. Hey, check it out. Hey, we got us a wrestling belt. We got us a Captain Kirk shirt. And we got us an exit sign. Put all those together, and what do you got? You got the lifeboat. Oh, don't forget the watches. Just kidding. Just having a little fun. Sorry. But no, we really do. And even like tonight, we strayed away from the subject a little bit, but we kept it about addiction and helping somebody else. We had callers. This is a call-in show. And I mean this, guys. Please get people over here. We're getting people help. We've gotten so many people help. I can't tell you how many. It's a lot. We've only been doing this a little over a year. And not even the whole year. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, I know. Ain't that right, Drop a Deuce? Yeah, I'm subscribed to a lot of channels. I don't like the people personally. but I'm able to look at it and watch it for what it is. Because some of the most brilliant people in this world, forgive my language, but they're pricks. They're confident in what they're doing, and sometimes they become overconfident, which makes them seem egotistical and narcissistic. Now, if you can get past all that and filter through that and see what they're really trying to, just look at the information. That's how I do it. Don't listen to anything else that they're saying but the information. Don't be, if they're over here saying, look at me, I found this, I found that. Look at this over here, I'm so much smarter than you. Hey, did you check out the Farfanugal gear on that, that satellite out there that was trying to face the cosmos and trying to take all these pictures of Deep Space Nine? And man, they saw a picture of Captain Kirk from 25 million years ago, and they brought it back to the future. And when you start hearing that kind of stuff, you see what I'm getting at? So just focus on the information. That's what I'm trying to say. Let all that other stuff go. So, anyway, I kept all the stuff, all the space weather at the beginning. Just so I want to make that clear. Anybody else listen to me after that? Enter at your own risk. But anyway, I just got, guys, seriously, I have to, I try to have a little bit of fun every once in a while, and it just, I don't, oftentimes what I talk about here isn't all that positive. Okay? We're talking about, stuff that could, be catastrophic at the end of the day. Not that it's going to be. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that when we do talk about big flares, we're talking about stuff that can affect our lives. So, when I can try to lighten it up, I do. So thank you guys for hanging with me on that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys. I really can't. You guys are awesome. So anyway. All right, my internet mom, she's in there giving me all kinds of stuff now. All right, but anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and pop off. Guys, please come over here and check out Marv. I'll tell you what, let's just pull up his live stream real quick, and we will definitely show you where he's at, because I think this is what we need to do. Anybody listening to me that doesn't know who Marv is, that doesn't know who Adam and Dex are over here on Marfugal, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over here and show them some love. All right? Looks like they're getting ready to start the live stream up in just a few minutes here. So I'm going to put the link here in the description box. And anybody that's never been over here, come over here and let them know that you came from Wages World. All right? Say, hey, Marv, Adam and Dex, I haven't been over here yet, or I have, and I'm back now because Wages World sent you here. Tell them that. Let them know, because, they've helped me so much. And, yeah. And they've helped the lifeboat a lot also. So what I'm going to do, and I just did what I said I wouldn't do. My goodness. I put the link to this live stream in that live chat. You see that? Told you guys I did that from time to time. But there it is in our chat. So there you go. Anyway, guys, I'm going to pop off here. Check out everybody's channels. Ripper, Trinity, Heather Hatch. She's starting a YouTube channel here very shortly. But yeah. But yeah. Oh, man. Wow. All right, guys. I will see you guys over there. Love you guys. God bless. Yahusha saves. And I hope you can still drink this Kool-Aid.